this is Let's Talk Best Intentions, all things wealthy, healthy, happy.
Oh, do you think that's a bit cheesy?
Yeah, but I quite like it.
Hi everyone. So we are coming to you. I'm in London, and Tara, you're in
Isle of Wight.
Yep. So we're giving a go at doing something in different locations. But what this is really about is we obviously have been kicking Best Intentions back into gear. And with that and the timing of coronavirus and everyone spending a lot more time at home and probably having a bit more time because they're not doing the commute anymore, we've been thinking about how we can be as useful as we can at times like these. So we kind of wanted to come to you with what all the questions that we've been asked actually from the community already, like questions our friends have been asking, and then also to talk about how our finances fit into our kind of holistic well-being. So that's about your finances, your health, and also like your mental health as well. So Tara, I know you've had a lot of questions from the community. Tara's our resident financial expert. So what is it that people have been asking with everything that's been going on at the moment?
I think it's just been confusion, and like there's no sort of common theme, but it's sort of around, what should I be doing? What should I be thinking about? Everyone's sort of heard that markets are all over the place. So if you started your investing journey, there's a lot of uncertainty about what you should do now, given, as I think we've all seen in the news, markets are down quite a lot.
Yeah,
but
that moment where you look at your app and suddenly things have changed a lot more than they have in the last year, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. And risk is something that we always talk about with investing. It can go up as well as down, and all of that stuff. But until it actually happens to you, until you've actually felt the impact of that. I mean, I work in the industry, and I still find it really quite emotional when you look at that value and think, oh God, I've lost that money. And how you then respond to that. So, but also people who haven't started their investing journey and thinking, is now the right time? What should I do? What could happen from here? So I think it's just a bit of confusion, a bit of uncertainty, and actually a bit of anxiety about the whole situation generally. Not just the investing side, just am I going to have enough money to see me through this indefinite period of time of being at home, having to figure out how you're going to buy food, and so on. So I think that's probably the themes that I'm seeing. I don't know if you've had any other questions yourself.
Yeah, similar kind of questions. I know a few people who I've been speaking to recently who've just started investing, and I think it's so difficult when something like this happens when you're first kind of getting into it, and it feels really like, oh, I've done this completely wrong, it was a massive mistake, and you're just looking at these minus numbers and you're like, oh God, I don't know what to do, and I think that emotional reaction of just like, how do I deal with this? And it's it's one of those things that we talk about it a lot, where like it's a long-term investment strategy, so this stuff shouldn't have an impact on you, all of that like knowledge, but it's so different when you're putting it into practice. And I think a lot of people just need that reassurance of everybody else is going through the same thing, and things like this have happened before and they've come out the other side. I think that's the difficult bit to navigate at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I would absolutely encourage people to do is, investing is a big topic. You may have already started it, maybe thinking about starting it, but really what I'd encourage everyone to do is start from the top and really get to grips with everything that's going on, what you're spending, how much you're saving, how much you can afford to spend, and how much you need to save, and really start with the basics before you then go into that. Because if you don't start there, then it's going to be really hard for you to understand whether or not you've made the right investment decisions, or whether or not you've taken the right amount of risk. And so I think if I was to really try and distill it down, and whilst everyone's got a bit more time on their hands, the first thing I would say is make a plan. And I know the word budget is like a horrible word no one likes to use, and isn't it boring to do a budget? But call it a financial plan, call it whatever you want, but really understand what's coming in, what's going out, what you absolutely need to have going out, what you really want to have going out, because it's not just about essentials, or maybe it is at the moment, but and then have an understanding of how long that money can last you for, what's left over, and then what you want to do with an investment, because that's the most important thing, rather than thinking, is now the right time to get started with investing versus yesterday versus tomorrow versus in 6 months' time. What is it that you're trying to achieve with that money, and what can you afford to put aside to invest and see where it could go to?
Yeah, and I think, you know, when we first started kind of chatting, I hadn't really looked at my accounts at all. I didn't really like know where my money was going, and I use Monzo, and I think that's really useful if you actually look at how the data is broken down, but also like subscriptions, you know, how much you've got going out and whether that actually brings you joy. I mean, that's how I kind of approach my finances now, is the Mary Kondo thing of, you know, am I happy that I spent my money in that way, or am I not? And it doesn't necessarily mean that I change it straight away, but it's starting to just be a bit more conscious about the decisions that we make when it comes to money.
Yeah. Oh my God, subscriptions are, they are so dangerous. So a couple of things. One, the App Store. So I don't know if you've looked in, if you go into your iTunes or into your App Store, it tells you all of the apps that you've signed up for those £2 a month subscriptions or £1.50 a month subscriptions. I had a look at that. I was spending, I don't know, I mean, at least probably 10 or £15 a month on things that I never ever use really. So the Deliciously Ella app, which I subscribed to, and then was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna get loads of recipes from this, it's gonna be great. And then it lived somewhere sort of 3 pages down in my app pages, and I never ever opened it. And why am I spending this? But then I also spend a few pounds a month on news subscriptions like the FT and the Times, which I do look at. And so I think, okay, brilliant, I'm spending that money and I'm making the most of it. But then I just have a big cull of all of the subscriptions that I don't need. So it's an App Store. Insurance, it's really embarrassing to say, and thank God I've had this time to actually look through this. I was spending £7.99 on insurance for a bike that hasn't been out the shed for a year and a half.
Money well spent.
And then the classic one is a gym membership. So we all spend, well, not all, but a lot of us spend a lot of money on gym memberships that we probably don't get the best value out of. But what you might have seen, I don't know whether, have you got a gym membership?
I don't, because I've banned myself from gym memberships, because I've done it 3 times since being in London, and every time I went for the first month or 2 months, and then I was paying for 10 months that I'd never went. So I'm done. I'm tagging out of gym membership.
Right. Good for you. So what I saw, so pretty much all of the big gyms, in fact I think pretty much every gym, because they've been told they have to close, have to pause your memberships. So what I would urge everybody to do is, in this time when you're not actually allowed to go to the gym and you're getting that money back, try and find a way of fitting your exercise routine into sort of home life. As you can see, I'm very much at home at the moment. And then ask yourself the question, when we go back to some semblance of normality, do you really need that 50, 80, £120 a month gym membership? Or can you find a way of exercising outside or on your living room floor, like we're all doing at the moment? I don't know about you, but my mum, who's downstairs at the moment doing a Joe Wicks workout.
Nice, good.
She pays for a gym membership, but actually she's doing a perfectly good job. You might be able to hear her actually bouncing around down there. But yeah, so subscriptions are so dangerous. So that I would definitely use the time that you've got to do a bit of a consolidation of what you
subscription cleanse whilst we're on a quarantine.
Yes. Let's do that. Okay. I've already started mine, but I'm sure there's still work to do.
Yeah, I had a look at mine yesterday again. And you know, there's things like, actually, because I live with my boyfriend now, and like we like double up on some of the subscriptions, that's obviously really pointless. Like both having Amazon Prime, there is no need for that. Both of us having Spotify, there's no need for that. So there's all of this stuff that actually we're paying double for, which we shouldn't be. So that's on my list to sort out with my extra time back.
Good. The last thing that I would say, and this is particularly relevant at the moment because the situation is changing so rapidly, is using a tool, a sort of free tool out there, to understand exactly what you are able to get out of the current situation. So Money Saving Expert, or the Money Advice Service, as a really useful tool to understand what the government is allowing people to have and what they're giving to people and what you qualify for and what you're eligible for in terms of financial support through this time. It's changing every single day. It's quite complicated. It's quite complicated to understand exactly what you're eligible for and what you're not, whether you're employed one of the sectors that's being, you know, particularly affected, whether that's entertainment or travel or leisure type of activities.
Yeah.
Or if you're self-employed and being affected by this, versus if you're sick and having to take time off, and each type of situation is eligible for different types of benefits and financial support. So using a public platform like Money Saving Expert or the Money Advice Service can really help bring clarity to that, if you're not really sure what you're owed in this situation.
Yeah, definitely having a look at those.
Yeah. Do you use Money Saving Expert?
I do actually, mainly when there's things that I don't understand. So when I first started trying to figure out my finances, and I was trying to choose like where to have an ISA, for example, like the tables that they create, I find really useful. And you know that it's independent, and so I really like that. So
Yeah.
it can be really good, particularly if you've got like a specific topic in mind. I think if you're just like cruising the site, it can be a bit overwhelming because there's so much information on there. But yeah, if you've got kind of specific questions, Martin generally has you covered.
Yeah, he's quite interesting to listen to as well. But yeah, so I suppose lots of questions coming through. Please keep them coming. I know there's a lot of confusion, a lot of anxiety out there. But yeah, as I said, 3 things. 1, make a plan, know what's coming in, know what you need to go out, know how long your money's going to last for, and what you're trying to achieve with any savings or investments that you're doing. The second is use the time to do a subscription cleanse. I like that word now.
That's what we're calling it.
Yeah. And yeah, finally use the tools that are available out there to bring clarity to what is quite a confusing situation. Those would be my 3 tips.
Tara, top tips. Love it.
There you go. Should we make that a thing? I'll see if I can come up with some more.
Nice.
Good. Well, and how have you been managing? Have you been home for a little while now?
So I've been home because we started a bit earlier actually. So I've been home working for 7 days, like working days now. And I'm kind of used to working from home because I do it quite a lot with my job. This is very different from that. And I think that's a really important point, is we're not just working from home. We're working from home when there is a global pandemic on, and that changes things. It changes the environment, the anxiety, the confusion, that's all going on as well. You know, you can't go and sit in a coffee shop to go and do your work. You're stuck within, you know, for us and my boyfriend, we're in quite a small flat, and both of us are working from the dining room table next to each other. So, you know,
except when he's kicked out of the room.
Except when I've just kicked him out so that I can do this so he doesn't listen to me. But that's been really, like, you know, that's really different for us. I didn't know his job really, and now I've learned that, so that's a real positive to come out of the situation.
Brilliant. Yeah. Relationship goals.
Yeah, exactly. But a few things that we found really helpful, which I would definitely recommend, is because we are living and working in the same space, so we have a living room, dining room, kitchen, is that we put all of our screens, all of our computers, all of our notepads away at the end of the day and literally pack it away, because otherwise you don't have that distinction between working and living. Everybody sees all of the clothes thing of like changing your work clothes and your home clothes. I haven't been doing it, and now I regret it, because it got to the weekend and I was like, this feels the same. I need a change.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend that as well. And you know, as long as you're being safe, like going out and getting some fresh air. I'm not really a runner, but I've like really enjoyed doing it for my mental health rather than like trying to get fit. I've actually enjoyed it more, because I'm not like must do 5k in a certain amount of time. I'm literally just going until like I feel a bit better, I've got a bit of fresh air, and then I'm kind of like dealing with the cabin fever a bit better.
That's actually, I hadn't really thought about the whole distinction between work clothes and work mindset, and then home clothes and home mindset, because obviously you do that when you're in the office. I've actually found it really difficult. I very much am an office-based worker, and you know, I don't sit at my desk for long periods of time. I'm interacting with people all the time. I'm going to meetings, and actually I found it, the first couple of days were okay. I knew I had work to do. I was down in my study and I was doing it. But then as the week went on, the start of the day kind of blurred a little bit. I was sort of watching news / eating my breakfast / starting my emails, and then, you know, get to the end of the day and sort of in and out of work a bit. And as you say, you just never really have that distinction. And I can see my productivity is sort of tailing off a little bit. So yeah, I'll try and use that, an actual outfit change as a way of kind of defining the team.
You know, and that's what I've heard a lot of people say actually, is they're finding it so much easier in a bad way to slip into continuing to work through the evenings because they haven't had that change of scenery. So we try and literally at 6 o'clock, that's it, we're kind of done. You know, you have enough time now, you know, you've got 2 hours back of your day, you don't need to be working later than that. And you know, you've got your lunch break to play with, like obviously like I don't, you know, don't take an hour for that now, but I know some people who are very strict in terms of their timings. I mean, I think because this looks like it's going to be something that goes on for, you know, 10 to 12 weeks, try different things to figure out what works for you. You know, take the next week or so to be like, right, has that helped? Has it not? And then you'll end up finding the routine that works for you, I think.
Okay, I'll report back. I'm going to try some of these things, see if it works. See if I can stop working at 6 o'clock and actually take a lunch break.
I'll just call you and be like, stop working.
But actually talking about lunch breaks, so okay, I can't take credit for this because actually it wasn't, but I'm going to send you a photo, maybe we can post it later, of some amazing these little like muesli cookies that cookies, I suppose they're biscuits that my mum made, and I came up in one of my lunch breaks and I kind of helped her do some of it and put them on the tray and put them in the oven, so I might give those a go. They actually look like a really nice sort of healthy snack that is super easy to make, and actually the ingredients probably cost next to nothing, they'll last forever. So things like muesli, nuts, raisins, and I thought, oh, actually that's probably quite a good snack for whilst being home. And
tasty snack. Yeah, good.
Well, oh god, they're so good. Yeah, they're really tasty. They were really nice when they were warm straight out of the oven, but I actually had one this morning and they're still very good.
Nice. Well, we might have to turn this into a bit of thing, like the Best Intentions Bake Off, because I also did some baking. I didn't do it for lunch break. I actually did it yesterday evening. But I tried to make some granola bars. I say tried, I did actually succeed, but it was one of those things where going to the shop to get ingredients that you want isn't very easy right now. So I had to like switch a few things in and out. So instead of like, there were no oats anywhere because obviously anything that lasts any amount of time isn't in the shop. So I used muesli and just like took out all of the fruit bits like one by one. And then I toasted it, and then I put like chopped.
Is that just because you don't like sultanas and raisins, or you just can't have them in the recipe?
It wasn't in the recipe, and I didn't know like toasting. I didn't know if toasting it off would ruin it, so I was like, I'll just take it out. And then I made I melted some butter, put some honey in with it, and some peanut butter, and that became the like glue that holds it all together.
Okay.
You toast all the oats, mix them all together, bake them for half an hour, and yeah, look, they came out really well. I'm really proud of these. Oh wait, ta-da! Granola bar.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And
can you send a couple over to the Isle of Wight for me?
Yes, I shall, as long as you wash your hands before you take them out.
Yeah. Oh, that looks amazing. And do you have any idea how much the ingredients cost and how many you'll get out of them?
Super cheap. I will actually do the maths and we can post it to the Instagram later. Do that. Yeah.
Because actually, I think a lot of the time, these granola bars, so that size of granola bar or like protein bar or whatever, when you get them in the shops, they cost about £1.50, £2. But I think you can get those ingredients, well, you'll have to let me know, but I think you can get ingredients that will last you multiple batches for £5-6 probably.
I think it was really cheap. So yeah.
And how long does it take to make?
So prep time probably I'm gonna go 7 minutes, and then baking half an hour. So but obviously you don't have to do very much, and there wasn't a lot of washing up, which made me really happy. So that was good. And stops me eating chocolate 17 times a day, which is the goal for this next week.
And particularly when working from home, right? That is, when you've just got a fridge just there that you I am speaking from experience. But you can just go and graze all day long. So getting yourself set up with some snacks that you can actually buy the ingredients for now are relatively healthy and cost effective to produce. I think that's a great
definitely
tip.
Need that for this new working from home approach. That's
good. Well, sounds like we've actually had quite busy weeks.
Yes, I know, and we've managed to cover off wealthy. So you've got your top tips from Tara, including your subscription cleanse.
Yeah.
We've got healthy, so we've got healthy snacks, and also making sure that you are figuring out the best way for you to like work from home, and also get your exercise in. And what's the third one? Happy, yeah.
Which is all the same stuff. Keeping fit, keeping healthy, trying to find a way of making this working from home in isolation, not really being able to socialise with people in the same way that you would normally. Trying to find the best of that situation. Try and stay active, keep a routine, eat healthily, and I think most importantly, just keep smiling.
Yay! All right,
Awesome.
we're going to record one of these every week. So as Tara kind of said, any questions that you have, send them in. We will answer them. We really want to make sure that this is like something that's really useful resource. And yeah, stay in touch.
Cool. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.